We are live. Friday night, a little bit late, 8:40 something. You know,
hey,
it's not like we had somewhere to be, right?
This, it's not like we're going anywhere, but somehow we're still late. Actually,
we're always.
Because I was just thinking, I'm like, you're not even leaving the house, and still somehow.
Kind of can't help it, right? Like, it's unfortunate, but it happens. So, welcome to everybody tuning in, whether it's after the fact or before. We're doing something a little different tonight, so I guess we'll probably just get. Do we want to wait till a couple people rock up, or should we just get right into it?
Get right into it, you know.
Let's get right into it,
especially for the podcast listeners, you know. Then they
because I can start that differently. I'm going to edit it.
Oh, true. It's not live. It's not on yet.
No, this is like the YouTube part. Yeah, guys. So we're doing something a little different. So I guess we might as well just get right down into it. People will catch up. It's not a big deal. All right. I'll wait till you've done that because it's better for the thing. Yes, so for those who might be aware, we do this every Friday at supposedly at 8 p.m. tonight. We pushed it back a little bit, had some stuff to do, and then just had to get it set up because we're trialing something a bit different. We have new software, which you'll start to see a couple different things as we go. We're going to bust it in, so this is kind of fun for us. We've been using this on our high season channel, which it has been really, really good. We tried it out last weekend and it was dope.
Yeah.
So if you see me, the camera's here, right down here. I have the computer now. Shouts to Steve. G'day, mate. Great timing. All the way from Brizzy. Love it. What a ledge. Go follow his podcast, Sunday Sesh. Steve, I think it's Matt and Steve. It's very on point beer names. But yes, do this thing with the comments right here. It's pretty cool. We're able to now pull up any comments on the screen and address them immediately. It's super, super cool. This new thing here. First question, Steve-O, what are you drinking, mate? Very important. We need to know. Flamin' need to know. So it's cool. So if anyone does comment and stuff tonight, we're going to pull them in. It's going to be interactive. Like I said, we're doing something different where we're going to try this out. Something new for us. Haven't done something like this in I want to say 4 years. Hang on, 4? Yeah, probably 4 years, maybe longer. So it's been a minute.
Cool.
How you feel? You good to go?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So, shouts to Stefan. He's the man. Go check him out on
Stefan.
YouTube. Kills the game.
How you doing? How's that paper shredder treating
Shredding
you?
paper tonight, this man. He loves it. He's the guy who told us about the software too. So he's a good friend and schooled us on it, and now we're obsessed.
We're completely sold on it.
Right? It's crazy. 10:50 a.m. Oh yeah. Should be having that third wave coffee, bro. I mean, but instant coffee does the trick, right? Whatever works. All right. Ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Let's go. What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 4 of BAOS podcast. This is our Adjunct series quarantine edition. Now, I am once again joined by my partner and everything, Tiffany, Alexis. Hey, baby. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here.
It's wonderful.
How are you?
I'm chilling. It's it's Friday. Been a hectic day, but we are here. So for everyone listening, we are also going live on YouTube every Friday, somewhere between 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Stefan, finding ancient checks. I hope you're going to cash them, buddy. So yes, we'll be, if you guys have heard the last few episodes, we'll be referring to the comments and stuff. People are commenting in. We've got this new software that makes it extra sick. So if you are listening on the audio, go and check out the videos that we're dropping on YouTube. It is it's pretty dope. Now, if you are watching, you'll see that we have headphones on. The reason for that is we're going to bring in a guest, which is the first time we've got a guest in on Skype. I think we did it on episode 6 with Dave Seacott from Michigan, who now works for Brew Detroit. And we did it, I think it was episode 10, 11, or 11 and 12 with Phil from BrewHeads. So me and Phil were here, and my brother Notion and Scott were in Toronto. Now, people have asked us over the years, breweries from other, states, countries, whatever, like, why, can we be on in Skype? Will you call us in? So we stopped doing that because the whole point of our podcast was we were supposed to visit breweries. And we were supposed to show off the breweries, in video form. The video were a super important part of what we actually do. So being that, video is key, and actually going to the brewery and drinking their beers is kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of felt like redundant to, interview a brewery and then not be there.
Yeah.
So it just made no sense. So we declined many, Skype requests over the years. But being that we are in a very, very unique time in history, Tiff and I could do the podcast every week, and that's fine. But like I said, we are using new software now. We have got our full recording setup attached to the computer, and we're able to rip the audio from this for the podcast in full quality. But we're going to bring in our first Skype guest since 2000, I want to say either late 2015 or early 2016. This evening, if you have watched the podcast or listened to the podcast in the last 6 months, you might recognize this young man. He either won the podcast or he broke the podcast, as we say. He was episode 159. He is a good friend of ours. Nathan from NathanDoesDoes Beer. Welcome, sir. Hey.
What up, friend?
Hey.
Oh my gosh, we need to get
This is cool, huh?
some laugh. What is it called? Sound effects. Oh, do you have? Look at that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I can even add my own stuff.
That's
it's got
amazing.
A whole bunch of,
we need to be using that. Oh, that's perfect.
Nice.
Good, man. What's happening?
Not a whole lot, living that quarantine life.
Aren't we all? So, Nate, you're coming live and direct from Ottawa, Ontario?
Yeah, I'm coming to you live from Ottawa in my office right now.
Nice. If anyone's seen, you get the Bellwoods background right there. That's what it is. I love
Loving
it.
that gallery wall there.
Right?
Damn.
The Vox Pop tea. That pineapple.
That's right.
Looking gorgeous. Double fruit
punch.
Yes. So, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about this evening, and I feel like we can't really talk any further, Nate, unless we crack a beer, mate.
Yeah, we got to do it.
So we have a theme for the evening. You want to tell everybody what our theme is?
Yeah, the theme for the evening is going to be one of our very favorite breweries, and you could make a good case that they are one of the, if not the best brewery in Canada.
Big facts.
From Seaforth, Ontario, Half Hours on Earth.
Yes. Actually, mine's not going to do that. I'm going to hold it here. Yes. So what's... yours sounds amazing. You want to tell us what the one that you're drinking?
Yeah, so I got an order that came in a week ago. So this is a fairly recent release. This is called Another Dimension.
Okay.
It is a dragon fruit, passion fruit, mango, pineapple, sour IPA. Which just like one of the things I love about Half Hours, it is a very long list of adjuncts. So, and I'll tell you one of the other things in it as well. Also has one of our favorites, milk sugar.
Damn right it does.
Milk sugar.
If anyone knows anything about us, Team Lactose is what we live for here. Sorry, we did have a comment there. What's up, y'all? Drinking Tuckahoe Brewing.
Loop, there it is. Hey,
that's a good name.
That's
I thought it
cool
said Lupe. Oh, I like that.
That's a cool name.
What's good? Where's that from, by the way? That sounds sick. Have you had that one before, Nate?
No, this is a brand new one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah?
Yep, and I'll tell you something else, too. Hopped with Citra, Idaho 7, and Sabro.
Ooh, and those three of you and I are big fans of Sabro and Idaho 7. So that is pretty cool.
True.
It's got all them in it. Now, Stefan saying it sounds amazing. You're damn right.
What you got there?
I have something that you gave me, actually, in a trade. This is Autumn Rebellion, a pumpkin pie super gozer coming in at 8%. And this bad boy has pumpkin spice, brown sugar, marshmallow, Madagascar vanilla, pink Himalayan salt, coriander, and milk sugar. Of course, another laundry list of ingredients, but
Team Lactose.
Another Team Lactose beer. So I'm going to get these poured right now. So I had this clearly last fall when you linked me with it, but I kind of just had an extra one hanging around. I kind of just got caught up in the beer grind, as tends to happen with
Happens
beer
to the best of us,
right? Things just sort of like slip by. But I haven't had this for a while. It's certainly seasonally inauthentic. But
Looks great.
Yours sounds great there too. Oh, you got the glass.
Oh my gosh, it
Look at
smells
this fucking guy,
amazing.
right?
Jeez.
Well,
yeah.
Cheers, bro. Get it in ya, guys. Cheers. I hope you drink
Cheers.
something. Money. Fuck, man.
Wow.
It tastes like a pumpkin pie. It's intense. It's tart. You
Oh,
taste
I
all the
love
pumpkin
that.
pie spices.
I love the Nathan.
They even spelled your name funny. They wrote it on the can with a love heart.
Oh yeah, yeah. They did it like
Starbucks?
like a Starbucks glass.
That's
name
why.
buck up.
Oh.
That's smart,
That's so smart. Yeah.
right?
That's so that's a really nice touch. I thought.
I think so.
Oh, and
That's
then
good.
they, like,
good marketing.
I don't know if
And
y'all
I
can
didn't
see,
notice
but
the
they
little
have.
cross-outs and stuff.
It's not going to work, so we turn the autofocus off. But basically, it's got like spice, sugar, marshmallow, vanilla, and they just X'd it all, just like on the Starbucks cup.
That's so clever.
That's money. It says keep cold, drink fresh. Well, what's it best before January 10, 2020? Oh shit, my bad.
Oh, really? It tastes great.
Tastes fantastic. How's yours, Nate? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's still all right.
I like that glass.
Give it a sniff, mate. Give it a.
This
good
one's
sniff.
nice. So this one's clearer than I thought it would be.
I thought it'd be pink too. Don't know why.
Yeah. No, but it's awesome. Yeah, like I can definitely right up front. I can smell the passion fruit for sure. Because passion fruit that always comes through big and strong. Tends to overpower a lot of other fruit additions. So it's quite tart, not overpoweringly so.
No.
I'm definitely getting the mango. There's a bit of acidity from the pineapple, and even a bit of and the coconut vibe coming off from the Sabro is actually kind of mellowing everything out. So it's
Interesting.
Like there's a lot going on with it, but it's still like very well balanced, and you taste something from everything. Actually, like the only thing that I'm not sure about is that I'm tasting is the dragon fruit, but dragon fruit like has so very little flavor on its own. I feel like that's one I would not be able to pick out.
Yeah, it's true. It's a
From
very.
the line.
It's like a complimentary fruit, or kind of more just fun to have it in there, like star fruit or something, as opposed to something that
totally.
delivers flavor. I don't know why. When I think dragon fruit, I think pink, so that's why I thought the color. But I guess it wouldn't be that color unless it had like some sort of red fruit.
Yeah, but even with the dragon fruit, like the outside of it is pink, but the actual flesh of the fruit is white with with those seeds.
Yeah, I love dragon fruit. They're amazing. Stefan saying no beer for me tonight, only a shredder. we gave Stefan our shredder because he needs to shred some documents, and we live on in the same building, so it worked out pretty well shredding stuff. So Uncle Nathaniel, it has been a while since we have had a full chat.
It's been a while.
We have a list of things to talk about tonight. So I appreciate you joining. I think this is going to be good. If people don't know, Nate is our lead blogger for BAOS, of course. So Nate runs things there. So go check out, if you check out the blog, the vast majority of the posts are from Nate there. Nate also and we started Team Lactose together on Twitter, at Team Lactose, so go follow us.
Is Nate the one updating those creative names all the time?
Yes.
They're great. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, your names.
The names
What's
are
it called?
so good.
Team Lactose from a distance.
From the distance.
Yeah.
And you did...
It's so timely. And then
right?
the milk, sugar, and cookies one. Yeah, it was just always just timely and great. I love that.
And what was the other one for I guess we just did Team Pumpkin for because we are very much Team Pumpkin, hence this beer.
It was longer. It was like Team Pumpkin Spice Latte Stout or something like that.
Oh yes, so ridiculous.
I love it.
Which is very true. So basically, Nate and I align on all of the things that most beer nerds hate, meaning lactose and pumpkin, I guess. So we have
you mean fun styles?
Yeah, we just like innovation. Hashtag innovation is what Nate and I enjoy. Tiff is also team you
fun.
With that team fun,
team creative, team innovation. Yeah, definitely.
All right, beautiful. So we're all on the same team here. So yeah, Nate and I, along with Chris and Max from Hops and Bros and Noah from Beerism, all have a group chat. We talk pretty much every day, I guess, and I'm just going to slowly get all the boys on, and if this program allows us, we'll see if we can do like one big Skype orgy on here, if it's possible. I hope it is. But I want to soak it up.
That'd be great if we could.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I got a feeling you can. There has to be a way to do it. I'll find out anyway. So, that being said, you like my soy?
You saw you?
You seem like Aussies. Tiff always
Sorry.
I don't know. I kind of, we make fun of it so much that, and I've never spoken like that, and now I'm doing it normally. You know how that goes, right? God damn it. So first things first, let's touch on half hours on Earth, because the reason why we're trying to decide what to drink tonight, and we were like, well, it'd be better if it had something that we both, had beers from the same brewery, and also, that we both really, really enjoyed. And you happen to have a stash, you got a fresh delivery in. I have the next thing we're doing, we both have the same beer, which is going to be fun.
Yep.
So we are just both advocates of this brewery. I don't know when I think Hillary got me some on my first one. Hillary from Pretty Penny.
Was that when she came and did the podcast?
No, we did a trade.
Oh, okay.
She got me some Barncat and when they first canned. What was their first can? Triple.
Their first can
was the Simcoe Triple IPA or something.
It might. Yes, you're right. It was. It was Triple Simcoe.
Triple Simcoe. So she got me that, and we split a half hour's order. And I got her a bunch of fire from here. So she got me a bunch of stuff. I think it was mostly bottles, like Totally, one of their raspberry hibiscus sours, which I had again the other night. The new version is phenomenal. So I got introduced by that, and I think I kind of had them few and far between. And if you guys remember, the episode 159 of the first batch of podcasts, season 6, I guess that one ended up being. Nate, you brought both of our favorite beer of 2019, Game Blouses.
That's right.
A blueberry maple pancake sour. Is that right? With lactose.
That's absolutely right.
That beer.
Oh my god, that fantastic beer,
wasn't it? And you got it again, right?
Well, yeah. In the that was the thing. In that order, when I brought that one that we shared on the podcast, I had only got one can of it, and it absolutely blew our minds. So that was kind of the what prompted me to place an order this time was the fact that they brought it back. I'm like, okay, I'm 4 cans this time.
Yes, smart move. Have you cracked any of them?
I haven't cracked them yet.
Oh, that is some willpower right there.
Yeah. Just waiting for the right opportunity. I'm probably going to get into some of those this weekend, I think.
Oh, please let me know how that goes. After that, I found it in
Toronto.
I think it was either at the end of last. I think it was the end of last year at Boxcar Social. It's a cafe that's also. It's like the perfect place. It's a third wave cafe with fire pastries, and they also have like 12 taps and a shit ton of bottles and cans. And they've got like small batch whiskeys and spirits and local wine like rosewood and stuff. So it's like we want to own a place like that. It's
have
amazing.
You been to Boxcar?
A great spot.
Yeah, have you been?
No? Highly recommend. Yeah, I think they have about 4 locations. The one we always end up going to is the one in like Leaside, Riverdale, so like Queen East.
Yeah.
It's just perfect, and it's a great vibe to even work from, because you can be like working and then you have your third wave coffee,
and then you're like,
all right, well, it's 4 p.m. Let's move into the good stuff,
So when I was there last time, they happened to have Game Blouses in a can. It was like $14 a can. I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. And it was that first batch. It was probably
I didn't regret that.
Oh no, not every penny. I could have gone something new and tried something different, because I'm not in Toronto all the time, but I figured that would be the move, because it's even rarer to try that beer again. I'd probably better fresher. It was still great, because by the time I had it, I got a feeling it was Christmas, and we did the podcast in October, so it would have been a few months old at that point.
Yeah.
But God, it was exceptional. So Half Hours are a brewery. They're based in, is it Seaforth, Ontario?
Yeah. And
where are they specifically?
I want to say it's about an hour west of Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah. Look at that, coming through with the facts immediately.
So shouts to Bassam. Go follow him on YouTube as well. He's got his that's his account right there, so you can go follow him. The Boxcar location was a house turned into a cafe or bar.
So cool.
So he's talking about Bassam, you talk about the
little Summerhill?
No, well, hang on. There's one on the Summer Hills on Yonge. We were referring to the one that you talked about just off Queen East on Bolton. There's one in like Harbourfront, and there's another one somewhere else.
Yeah, isn't there like 5, Bassam? Like 5 locations or something?
Hey, wait, what did you say here? First location. Which one was the first location? I got a feeling that one was.
Yeah, the first location was probably the house, which would be super cool.
Yeah,
if that's the case.
If that's what it was. So super, super fire. So yes, the reason why we love half hours, being that Nate and I, you and I share a very similar palate. As far as we like the fun kind of beers, we love hazy IPAs and milkshake IPAs as well. But we very much appreciate a really well made sour. And look, much as we joke about what we call yawn beers, like boring, kind of more traditional styles, there's almost nothing I would prefer over a fantastic crispy boy right now.
Yeah.
So half hours just kill it with everything.
Yeah, and they're one of those they're one of those breweries, particularly with their canned stuff and even some of the bottles as well. Like, there is nothing they won't put in a beer, and they will put in crazy combinations. Like the pumpkin one that you're drinking right now is a perfect example of that. Like I think the ingredient list is like 8 lines long or so, or something like
6.
that. Yeah. And some breweries, they would put a long list like that, and it would taste like a hot mess. But half hours, it's always super delicate, super well balanced. It's always so refined, and their canned beers are so different from their bottled beers too, because the canned beers are usually sour IPAs, usually with lactose, usually with some kind of fruit addition. But then the bottled ones, that's usually where you get some kind of funk or something barrel aged, or one of the ones that they that was kind of another step in a different direction. And another one of my favorite beers from last year was Advanced Drinker, which was their farmhouse lager in that gigantic 750 ml bottle, and that was life changing for me. That beer. I still have dreams about that beer.
Oh, that's a good episode name.
It's on a short list of the best lagers I've ever had. It was so good.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Why was that specific one so good? Being it was like the farmhouse, it was like a lager, but with farmhouse yeast, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a little while now, so I couldn't pinpoint what specifically it was about it, but it's and the farmhouse was not like a big punch you in the face kind of farmhouse flavor. It was very delicate. It was crisp, refreshing, everything you'd want a good lager to be, but with a very the kind of balanced farmhouse quality to it. And it was one of those things too that because it was like a farmhouse yeast beer, when you pour it, it's got it had a huge pillowy meringue of head that was floating above the glass and everything, and it was one of those things that I was so glad that the bottle was so big, because I did not want to stop drinking it.
Wow.
Yeah, your
what
photo.
An experience.
Did you see the photo?
No.
The photo was crazy, just with that big meringue head. It was exceptional. Yeah. Now, in a comparative beer, the one that I had was called Range Life, and I think you said you have that now.
I've had it in my previous order, and I grabbed 2 more bottles of it in this one because that was in the same territory. It's like a very similar kind of beer, and poured with that same head as Advanced Drinker did.
Would you say it's as good?
I would say it's as good, yes.
Oh, really? Okay, so I didn't miss out, because I was I saw you had it. I think Chris had it too from Hubs and Bros, and I was really jealous. And I didn't get super jealous that often, but that one just looked, and just the way you guys were just losing your minds over it, I was like, oh Lord, this is ridiculous.
Sexton Brewing.
Yeah, Sexton.
I would love to have Advanced Drinker again, but Range Life is just as good, definitely.
Okay. That is really, really good to know, so I didn't totally miss out. Sexton Brewing is saying that Lucifuge Schwarzbier from Half Hours last spring was awesome. Did you happen to have that?
I haven't had that one, no.
That would be interesting to try their dark stuff. I mean, I've had a bunch of their stouts, and they're always this type of craziness. I had a gingerbread cookie stout and a s'mores stout, I think they did. They're all fine. They're kind of low ABV, the ones, 6-ish for a pastry.
Yeah, they a bunch of stouts in early December. I unfortunately missed out. I didn't place an order in time to get on those, but they sounded really good.
Yeah, those were exceptional, but I can imagine what they would do with the more straight up and down style, because I feel like they're crazy, and this is why they're so good to us. Their crazy shit is as good as their traditional well-made stuff. Like they do straight, like you said, a farmhouse
Absolutely.
lager. I'm sure they do straight up and down lagers, and they're just regular saisons and stuff like that that are mind blowing. So I could imagine that Schwarzbier would just be bonkers.
I'm sure it was great.
And yeah, some of the, I mean, I guess what would you say they're best known for?
Well, they kind of built their name on sours and farmhouse. That's their bread and butter. And it basically anything that they put out is going to have that kind of a twist on it. Like any of their IPAs, I think, are always going to be sour IPAs. And any of their bottled stuff is always going to have some kind of farmhouse twist. It'll have some kind of barrel aging. It'll be farmhouse yeast. There'll be Brett. So there's always just some kind of either sour or farmhouse twist. Gotcha. Because that is what I would say they're known for.
Okay, I wasn't actually sure, so that was good to know. Have you had many of their? I guess I usually give you a sip at the very least, right? To be like, hey, check it out.
Everything's always fantastic.
Everything is, yeah. The black lager had all those nice roasty and light coffee notes from a Schwartz, but had a touch of the farmhouse funk. Now that would be interesting to have a farmhousey dark beer. I can't recall if I've had too many like that. That's interesting. But yeah, there's just basically nothing that they can't do, and everything they do is they do except not just oh, it's good. It's like mind blowing every time, and that's the
point. It's next level every time. They nothing that they put out is ever just fine.
Yes, and that's what differentiates them. Like even this ridiculous pumpkin pie goza is I wouldn't drink too many of them, to be honest.
This is a good amount.
It's
delicious.
It's really really good. And that's the main difference here is it's just out of control. So. Huge fans of them, and this is probably a half decent segue. Some of the things I want to talk about with you are sort of what you've been up to during quarantine, and one of those questions were how you're getting your beer. And being that Half Hours on Earth are a million hours away from anywhere, they're sort of aren't they a couple hours north of Toronto towards Sudbury type of thing? So they wouldn't get.
They're kind of more like an hour and a half west, and a bit north as well. It's they're kind of not really near any major city. When I even KW, they're still about an hour's drive from there. They're quite remote.
Gotcha. So they wouldn't have a ton of walk by traffic or anything. They're a destination.
Exactly. They're one of those places that. They're one of those places that you kind of have to be very deliberate in going there if you're ever going in on site.
Gotcha. Okay, so being that they are remote, one thing that I'm tired, and we've spoken about this at length on the podcast and the lives and whatever, but they are able to ship, and they are very very good at that. If I'm not mistaken, they were the first brewery in Ontario to add an online store. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you're not mistaken. They were the pioneers of online ordering and shipping beer in the.
Which is great because their stuff is so good and it's so sought after that they've at least given people a way to be able to get hold of the beers. So you're out there in Ottawa. What's been happening during quarantine? How you been getting your beer? What's going on?
Yeah. So. Yeah, like you said, and I'm staying home, as we all should be right now. So how I'm getting my beer is I am placing a lot of orders, even just locally, we've I talked about this on the blog a couple of weeks ago. We've got some breweries are doing some great stuff around here locally and all across the province to continue to be able to get beer to consumers. And the one that I talked about at length on the blog is of course one of our faves, Dominion City.
Yes.
The thing that that fascinated me about them is that they were really at the forefront of it. They were the most proactive in kind of getting this whole reacting to running their business in the pandemic, with their whole drive-through contactless pickup thing, where so they've completely closed down the retail store. That how they work locally now is, if you're picking up on site, you're placing your order online, you drive up, you give them your order number, they put the beer in the trunk, no contact, you drive off, on your way, you've got your beer, you're good to go. So that's a fantastic thing that and I think they were one of the first in Ontario to do that. They were certainly the first in Ottawa, if not the first in the whole province. And they were also one of the first in Ottawa to be doing direct home delivery for the locals. So within a certain radius of the city, you place your order. If it's over $40, they'll deliver it to your home for free.
Love it.
So good.
Yeah. So I've definitely taken advantage of their drive-through service to get beer from them, and they are doing so well right now. They can't keep beer on their shelves. They're literally selling out of their stock every day.
I saw them saying that, which is wild. They're actually out of beer.
It's incredible.
Yeah. People are buying it faster than they can brew it. It's good to see that they're managing to do that well, in these circumstances.
100%.
So that's just one example, and the other thing that I'm doing is, of course, as we've been talking about, is placing orders from some breweries out of town as well. I got this big order from Half Hours last week, and it's something that's been expanding quite a bit, not surprisingly, over the last month and a half, because breweries need to try to find a way to get to be able to keep selling their products.
Yeah.
And for some of them, I think they've been finding that it's not enough to be able to just say. So a lot of them who didn't previously have Province-wide online stores have opened that up. There's a ton that have jumped on that in the last couple of weeks, and one of them, which is another one that I got that came in last week, one that I've been waiting forever for them to open up an online store in Toronto.
Yes.
I saw your excitement. I saw your excitement through the gram.
Yeah. Yeah, I was so amped that they finally had an online store, because I mean, they're not local for me, and I can't get their stuff right now. So as soon as they had that out, okay, I'm placing a big order right now. So that's been it. We're really, really lucky in Ontario that breweries are able to sell that way.
Yeah.
So it's to be honest, I don't miss going to the LCBO. It's not been difficult to get beer dropped on my doorstep. And something else I'll mention as well, because another thing that's changed recently with a lot of breweries, because most of them use Canada Post to ship their stuff. Canada Post is, of course, incredibly slammed right now, because of the pandemic. They've got their own staff to worry about, and all of the and just all of the burden that they've got with everything that they still have to manage to deliver. So it's very difficult for them to keep up with all of the shipments coming through. As well, there's complications with the ID requirements for Canada Post deliveries. So what started to happen is that they during this time, they've said that they can't do the ID check that they normally have to do when they deliver alcohol deliveries. So all of those are getting sent straight to the post office. So what a lot of and that kind of
defeats the purpose.
Adds another step that we really shouldn't be doing during the time of social distancing, right? Like having to make a trip to the post office to
Exactly.
like to go pick up a shipment. So a lot of breweries to kind of help alleviate that step. They like a lot of them have switched to courier services, which are able to do like doorstep drops.
I also noticed,
so they don't need something. They can just leave it by your door and you're good to go.
Love
yeah.
that.
We had a, I won't say the brewery 'cause I'm not sure if it's allowed, but we got a
package here?
a PR package. I think you would have got it too, because I know you're on the list. But they just changed it from their 19 plus and they just put leave at door on the package. And I was very grateful for that because it, you know.
It's so counterproductive because we're trying to stay home and not go outside, and then we're getting these boxes and they're sending us to a post office full of people to go pick up the beers and the wine. So I loved that they did that. I actually thought it was Canada Post that fixed it, but it wasn't. It was the brewery directly who did that.
And look, we were saying, like, I understand that, you know, you don't want 17-year-olds ordering beer, but, like, honestly, what 17-year-olds are ordering 12 wines from Rosewood or fucking you know, expensive beers from Bellwoods? Like, they're not doing that.
Yeah.
They want to go to the LCBO or whatever and get a 6-pack of Coors Light. Like, they don't care. So I really think it's just like they're putting their priorities in the wrong place. So I would really, whilst I get it, like, I don't think it's necessary. I think they're actually doing more damage than good by you know, particularly what if it's someone who, no, I was gonna say someone who's immune,
who has an immune issue or something?
yeah, like something like that. Or I was gonna say maybe a lot of people who are immune compromised, they might not be able to drink anyway. But point being, you're just forcing people to leave the house.
No, you actually still would be allowed to drink. It's just that, like, being in contact with the virus is going to hurt you and
much
impact
more
you
than
much
alcohol,
more than
right?
someone else.
Yeah.
So sending them to go pick up things, it's like it defeats the whole purpose of all of us trying to stay inside and order things to come inside. So that's the strangest. That's a strange rule. And also, we went to pick up several packages from Canada Post, and no one's even checked our ID. So it's not doing anything. They're just like, no, you don't need to sign. No, you don't need to just take the box and go. Like, they're trying to get
they
you
canceled
out.
the
Yeah, they even canceled the signing thing. So they just like go.
It just seemed like, so you made me walk in the cold and put myself and everybody else at risk.
Make waste a mask, make do all this stuff just to it doesn't make any sense. I saw that this gentleman here said, where's Sexton Brewing? I'm curious about this.
I'm not sure.
Where are you? Dominion kills it every time. Solid beers every order I get. Okay, so I'll assume you're in Ottawa.
Yes, or at least in Ontario.
Yeah, Dominion, honestly, we were talking in the last episode about pivot or die and how important it is to pivot. And I don't know if there's a brewery at, like, I would say they're probably like my top most creative brewery who I'm always just consistently impressed by within Canada, if not just in general. I don't know if I can think of somebody else who I'm always consistently impressed by. Like, not only do they have great beer and then just a great culture and employees, every time we go there it's a fantastic experience, but on top of it, it's just like they always pivot or are doing interesting and creative things. First. Yeah. They are definitely like the first movers.
They're never reactive. They're always proactive. Like, in everything. The like their response to this is perfect example of that. And the festival that they held in February, that, like, rooted in place. I think that's my favorite beer festival I've ever been to.
Oh, we missed out then.
Be cool. Yeah, we messed up.
Got that in just under the wire because I don't know when beer festivals are going to be a thing again. It's probably it's going to be a little while.
I'm probably not going to one for like at least 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, it's that's a whole other of the question. We've also got, that's another thing, we're sitting on 3 vlogs, the Where to Drink in Montreal, Vermont, and San Francisco vlog. One of them we filmed with you with the City Brew Tours. We talked about it before, and we're like, well, we can't even drop them because, like, what's the point? Like, it's no one can go anywhere. I mean, maybe it would help people be aware, like, look forward to something, to go and do something, but or maybe somewhere to order from. If any of those places do order, those 3 places I'm pretty sure don't do ordering at all. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing, because even, like, I was thinking when you say the beer festivals, my first thought, which I guess is where my head's at, is that content. Like, when we go to beer festivals, we do the vlogs, and those vlogs are fun. I'm like, fuck, well, that's gone. Yeah. All those beer tourism vlogs are, like, out the window for a while.
A lot of traveling anything, period.
No, I know.
Being in large places with anybody.
No, I'm not exactly rushing to go and do that. No, that is dope. So you've been ordering a lot of beer.
Yeah.
One thing that I'll come back to this other one, or do you want to do that one now?
Let's hear from Sexton.
Oh, okay. Sorry. There's a comment. I love it.
So they are in Welland.
Okay, word.
I'm doing weekly orders from the Came and Kettle for some solid core 4 beers, and have done online orders from Dominion, Little Beast, and Fairweather. Interesting. And Sawdust, nice.
Nice.
I like he said core 4 beers.
So I guess when you're saying core 4 beers, you mean like your crushes?
Yeah,
Came
the
and
ones that
Kettle
you can
already
always rely on and just go to.
So that was something. Did we talk about that?
No,
last
we
episode?
didn't, because that's interesting that you said that. Because I was bringing up the fact that I keep seeing people purchase certain beers in bulk from like Great Lakes Brewing is another one.
This is how we had that conversation.
That's why we had the conversation. And then you talked to a brewer here who said their sales have gone up in their core range.
I saw it on Twitter actually.
Oh, and then you asked that brewer from here. You were talking to him the other night, and then he was like, "Yeah, our things went up in depths because everybody wants all our regular, our core line." So that's so interesting that you say that. I just think that's actually how purchases, except for Nate, who's like buying all of Ontario. I was like, Nate's credit card is just like, or Nate's like wallet is the one that's like taking care of all of the Ontario beer industry right now. Like you're single-handedly supporting.
I'm just doing my part.
But I think that's interesting that you said that because just having a beer, a non-adjunct, Sexton Brewing says.
Non-adjunct core.
Just having like a core beer that's reliable that you can depend on and drink and not be like so concerned over it.
Gotcha. Yeah, so just a brief, like, Tiff saw people buying cases and cases of Great Lakes. It's like, why are people buying cases of the same beer? Because that's not how we've consumed beer ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I guess these people want, like, crushes or whatever. And I keep forgetting his name. It's like Josh or something. He's like a beer writer in Chicago. Do you know what I'm talking about on Twitter? Like,
Josh Knoll.
Yeah, Hops Notes or something. So he said I think it was what's the word? Qualitative data, just from speaking to brewers. He said that people now want cheaper beer in lower ABV and crushable styles versus 4 packs of 9% haze or pastry stouts or something like that, because that's how people are consuming beer now. I think that doesn't apply because that's not how I'm consuming beer even now. Clearly, that's not how you're consuming beer even now. Like, I haven't changed the way any of my
drinking habits
have gone. Damn sexy, you're everywhere. I haven't changed the way I've drank, but like I have a podcast and content to make, right? So like I can't sit there and use my beer drinking time to drink the same beer over and over. If I wanted to, I would. Like I did an order from Bellwoods. I actually had to get it sent to a friend in Toronto, which in hindsight I probably should have got it sent to you, and we should have split it. And then, but I didn't want you to have to leave the house and do any shipping. That was the reason I didn't ask you. Because I wanted Milk Shark, and the only other beer I wanted was their New Jelly King, and then they happened to sell out. I was like, fuck. So then instead I just got Witch Shark, Jutsu, and Bellweiser, which I had 1,000,000 times, and I was actually really happy to just drink it. Mm-hmm. It was dope. But I wouldn't want like a case. I'd probably want a case of the Crispy Boy, to be honest. But like, it was an interesting thing. How do you feel about your drinking? That was my long-winded way of sort of saying like, how do you feel about your drinking patterns and habits over this time?
So the thing that I've been finding right now is that I've actually been drinking more than I usually do in my normal routine. Okay. I've had to force myself more to take days off than normal, and and you know how I feel about the importance of taking breaks from drinking and not drinking every day and whatnot. It's I feel very strongly about that. It's just the change in my routine has kind of interrupted my normal my normal habit. And I'm very lucky that I'm fortunate enough to be able to work from home, and I don't have to. I don't have to leave the house, and it's one of those things without me not driving to work and whatnot. It's very easy to happy hour as soon as I close my laptop for the day. Right. So it's one of those things of I force myself that I'm gonna take 2 or 3 days like every week to not drink, because I just don't have enough else to do, which is which is just kind of naturally forcing me not to drink. Like, I'm not as busy in my free time. I'm not I'm not driving around to do errands and all this. So it's one of those things that I'm just finding all that more important to just keep my health and good habits in mind. It's taking a little more focus and and commitment, and kind of remembering why it's important to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, that's good. I think you did.
How have you guys found it?
Well, I guess there are a few things to consider. We've kind of always been doing this, so it's not so different in terms of like working habits and general living habits. We've always worked at home, so unfortunately or unfortunately, every day is like the same anyway, so it is really requires self-checking to say like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to drink 2 days. So like your life now is just what I've been battling with for 5 years.
Yeah.
But it's crazy
Right.
because it is hard when you're just at home, like nothing's gonna happen after. Like, why not? Like, if the beer is there, it's calling your name, the wine is there, it's calling your name, why wouldn't you take a sip, So that's just been my everyday struggle for a while, and I have no solution to that.
Well,
oh, sorry,
I have a
Craig
solution.
implemented a solution, which has been great. I'm just trying to do 2 days off per week is my goal.
Have you been doing that?
Yeah, last week I think. And this week I've done 1 day off, so I just need to get one more day off, which is probably Sunday.
Yeah.
And then I've hit my goal.
I thought it was easiest. What I've tried to do now, because like I always thought, like what Tiff said, we've been working from home for 5 years, so it's like this is not crazy different for us. But I didn't realize how much I leave the house like to do errands. I'm the errand guy. I run around and get my hair cut, or I'll go and you're doing. Tiff has more calls than me with her clients, so I'm like, look, I'll go run to the supermarket, or I'll just go do this and just do it for us. So it never bothered me. Now I'm realizing I'm not. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm trying to get myself into more of a sort of certain routine. So I figured I like drinking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and at most I'm trying to say 3 nights in a row is good. I take Sunday, Monday off. So after a stint, I take 2 days off. Then I drink Tuesday. I don't drink Wednesday, and then back Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I drink 4 on and 3 off every week, and I have. And by the time I finish on Saturday, I drink Saturday. I'm like, cool, I'm not drinking Sunday. That's like we were talking earlier about doing a drinking thing on Sunday. I'm like, yeah, I'm not drinking Sunday. Like, unless there's some sort of crazy reason that I have to, then I'd switch it up. But I haven't found one.
Well, nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening, right? So
it's easy to stick to it.
Yeah.
It is a good time to try to stick to that and put those parameters in place. It's like, yeah, you have
normally
to.
I don't like strict regimented routine. I hate that. It doesn't really do a lot for me. But for some reason, this has really worked, and now I started doing some exercising stuff because I'm noticing the quarantine thing, because I would be walking more than I used to. Plus, there's a gym in the building. I would usually use that. So now I'm like, well, at the very least, if I can control my drinking and keep it to 60% on and 40% off, I'm like, it's not bad,
And this is
a pretty good ratio.
I think that's a good ratio.
Yeah,
and there's
healthy.
Also something to consider. It is actually easier, and you're saying, oh, it's working really well right now. But that's because we're not going and shooting 2 podcasts somewhere.
That's
so that
a
was
good
the
point.
problem, is that we were.
There's
it's
no
not a problem,
external
it's a good thing.
variables.
But there's no external variables. So it's not like, well, we could be shooting a podcast Tuesday and Thursday, and then so you're just gonna drink. Obviously, you're gonna drink with the brewer.
Yeah.
And then if you just want to drink in your leisure time, then that adds other days that you're gonna be drinking.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why it compounds, and then all of a sudden you're drinking 7 days in a row or something if you're not careful.
Right, and I'd have to do it on the fly then, whereas at least right now everything's the same, and there's nothing that's going to sort of impact it. So whilst I'm able to do that, I'm just going to stick to it as long as I can, and it should be good. Someone's saying here, do you have more than 1 per night or just 1 a night? I probably have 4 a night, 4 to 5.
I like this name, Booze, Games, Deep Thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Dan.
I dig it.
Shouts to Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Dan's in Calgary.
I'm 1 per night. You said 4 per night?
I'd say 4 to 5 because I'm catching up on my stuff. Because I've had problems with, I was just sick, couldn't drink for a while at the end of 2019 and a little bit of this year. I've had a lot of colds this year, and it's been kind of annoying. So, I keep getting banked up, and I've just got content to shoot, man. I need to get through them. So I try, I'm always in the back of my head, I'm like, I gotta power through these beers. So every time I drink, I try and hit,
A good amount.
4 or 5 within reason. I'm feeling done. I'm just done. I'm not going to obsess with it. What do you do?
Dan, I drink about a bottle of wine.
By the way, that's pretty good.
That's pretty, yeah.
What do you do, Nate?
If so on the work nights, if I'm drinking, I usually don't have more than 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
On Fridays and Saturday nights, I'll usually have 3.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, that's not bad.
Good.
Yeah, that's good.
Dan is saying, for me, I have 1 beer a night aside from weekends, similar to what you're saying there, where I can have more. I also try to keep my review beers to just that, reviewing. I don't work from home as much as I did. Okay. I feel like and this is a great conversation, because Nate, when we did our podcasts, I think we talked about balance, because a few episodes before then I did my solo episode about balance, and then you wrote a full blog post on your thoughts about balance, and I feel like it's a tough thing to come by during this time, right? Like keeping... Because every day, if you're not used to this life, it can be like, fuck, it's like vacation.
I've seen videos, and like it's like a popular thing where people go to the recycling bins of their neighbors to look at like how much alcohol is in their thing. And there's this video who's just this guy like just jogging down his neighborhood, and it's just like bins, blue bins and bins of alcohol and booze and just different alcohol. Because everybody's like, well, I'm at home. One, you could be a parent, so you got to drink if you're at home with your kids, and also just in general, there's no like stopping. It feels like there's no reason to. There's this whole every day is the same, so there's no reason to kind of stop.
And everyone gets to sleep more because there's no traveling if
Yeah.
you're not working from elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that makes a difference. So speaking of all of this, I feel like we're 50 minutes in. It's time for the second beer.
Yes.
Do you want to go grab that, Nate?
I'll grab
Yeah,
it.
let's
I'll
do it.
grab it.
Yeah. Do you mind grabbing that?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
keep
no
them
problem at
everybody
all.
entertained for a bit.
Try to
So
keep that
basically, we're going to do a
everybody.
beer. We have the same bottle. It's just the big one.
I was just asking Dan here when he says reviewing beers to just that.
He's a YouTuber.
Does that mean
so-
he's not reviewing? But you're still drinking the full beer though.
Yeah, Dan, what do you mean by keep my review beers to just
Or
that?
do
Like,
you,
if
like-
you're reviewing, you do the 1 beer and then that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just the big ass bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like, all this balance stuff is, yeah, it's an interesting thing for everybody to get used to. I feel like I don't know if it's fortunate or not, but my body doesn't I don't respond well to a ton of drinking. So for me, thank you, baby. It's a lot easier to not drink as much because my body just is like, bro, stop, chill out. I need to have, need to relax on this stuff. So, Nathaniel, boom. In case you can't see it.
Boom.
Yes, that's a nice event. So you got the 375. I've got the 750.
That's right.
Now this is called More Blues. It is an oak-aged blueberry, chamomile, vanilla, sour, raw ale. And it's with second-use blueberries, aged in oak. It is 5%. What do you know what raw in this case means? What does that mean? Like non-boil or something?
I think that's what it means. I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard the description before, and that's what I recall from it.
Okay, makes sense, right? Do you know what? It might actually say on what's it called? More Blues on Untapped here. Sometimes they explain it. Nope, they did not. Yeah, I've definitely heard of it before, but I wasn't sure really what that meant. I don't know. Do you know what their difference or what the difference is with these guys between their 750s and their other beers? Like, does it make a difference? Is there a reason why they put certain beers in 750s and otherwise, or is it just like they just decide to package them?
I am not sure. I'm not sure what determines that.
Okay, interesting.
I think that Advanced Drinker was the first one they did in the big 750s. I think before that they were actually in. It was either the 375s or maybe it was even 500s. But I think the Advanced Drinker was the first one they did in the big 750s.
Interesting. Ooh, look at that. Great color. I guess that's the blueberries.
Nice color.
I'll save some for the photo afterwards. Ooh, yeah, look at that. This is just very convenient.
Also,
we
it
happen to have
smells
this
fantastic again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great that pairing the beers up.
So, there's probably no ways to get the photo because I have to review this.
Yeah.
Get that real quick, ready? Oh, look at that. Gorgeous.
Love it.
All right.
Yeah, it's like can't get Nate in the photo really.
No, which sucks. All right, so it's a little bit opaque, a bit of a pink head, super fluffy. Nose is, I guess blueberries, a little bit funky.
Okay, I'm gonna get you guys in my photo though.
Oh, I like that.
Oh yeah.
Look at the camera.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a chamomile I'm smelling.
Oh, okay. Is he getting the tea? Chamomile.
That's what it is. I was like,
So it's
whoa.
second use blueberries, and that's actually a lot of color even from second use blueberries.
Yeah.
I like it.
I almost sipped it.
Get it in ya?
Get it in ya?
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Woo!
Whoa.
Whoa. That is tangy. Puckering.
Whoa.
Holy Jesus Christ. This is intense, eh?
Well, that blueberry is not messing around.
Nope. She is not.
What else is in it?
So I got the chamomile from the nose, but
Yeah, the chamomile is right there. Oh, vanilla.
yeah.
Mm. Oh my gosh. That is like intense.
Yeah, like the blueberry is actually quite strong.
Yeah, which is odd or interesting, not in a bad way, from a beer like this. Very, very, very tart though.
Yeah. Quite floral too. Like you get that a lot from the chamomile there.
Yeah, kind of juicy. Like it's like a juicy blueberry. Wow.
Yeah.
Mm. Woof. That is great.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dan is saying is this one. So my fridge, I have one beer, not 4-packs, and most are review beers.
Sounds
relate.
like Craig.
I try to have at least one 4-pack that I can have on the side when I don't have to review. Okay.
Okay.
That's what I do too. I don't try to. If I have it, it's a bonus. When I do my reviews, I just do one a night to keep my content going. If I want more, I use the 4-pack and have to pull out my camera equipment and review more.
Isn't it nice not to pull out a camera sometimes? That was actually
Wow.
perfect timing.
Right as Nate. Let's put that up. Wow, Nate, can you just have a beer without taking a photo? Fuck.
Jeez.
Can we just have a nice moment here? Fuck.
But like, yeah, we have to create content, but it is good to have those beers that are just like ones you've already had. You've done what you need to do with it, and now it's just yours to enjoy. So yeah, that makes sense.
No, I relate
It's
to
like
that.
the beer we had before this, right? We had like a
like a
common
crusher.
good sociable pilsner.
Yeah, just
and,
like while we're getting ready and stuff, and
yeah, don't have to do anything with it.
if
you
I
just
do
drink
like, but see, even after this, I'll probably do a couple 1-minute beer reviews.
Yeah.
Record them. If not, if I couldn't be bothered, sometimes like I'll have some of I'll get high, and when I get high, I'm like, oh, I can't do this right now, and I just won't do it.
I have some wine stuff to shoot after this.
There you go, right? So you
Yeah.
can't even. So like the content for beer media people, you'll understand. It's like it's always a whole thing to, I guess to be drinking and to be putting together the content. So
Yeah.
it's good, but this is great. I knew this would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is great.
The chamomile is crazy, huh?
Yeah, like you were saying, like the blueberries coming through really strong, but the chamomile too, like it's super floral.
I normally don't like chamomile, but I got some when I saw a naturopath at the end of last year. I got some chamomile tea, and I just really liked it. It's great. I had it every night, and so now I'm like I feel like if I didn't have that, I wouldn't appreciate this beer as much. This is fantastic.
That prepped your palate.
Yeah, right. I'm
Yeah.
ready for it.
Yeah.
So something. Oh, here we go. Sorry, Dan's saying something. What's he saying here? Yeah, I have extra eatables to help me to not drink as much as well. Yeah. The old, the oils, the sprays, the cookies, the gummies. Yeah.
Craig has a whole.
I got a whole stash. I'd love to do an episode about like a full episode just about weed stuff, weed and beer.
You could probably get like a beer that has something. And
I've
make
had
the episode around
terpene
it.
beers and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I got this shit recently. I can't remember if I told you guys about it. So I don't know if you're much of a weed dude, Nate.
Cheers, Dad.
My Dan's off. No worries, mate.
I don't know much. No, it's not. It's not really my thing.
No, no worries. So cheers, Dan. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Appreciate you. There was they had this it's like a soda, like a 22 milligrams of THC in a soda, and it's just like it tastes a little.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that.
I think I sent you the photo. So I had that the other night, and it's like super low. So it's almost like if you're going to you could drink that at a party, and you could just sip that along, put some ice in it and like some lemon or something, lime, and just enjoy that. And it doesn't get you smashed. It's like a real like light buzz. So you could have that at like a group. Say if you don't want to drink or whatever, at least you feel like you're sipping on something, and you're getting a bit of a buzz. So I want to try that with like gin or something in it to see if you can get drunk and high in the same thing. I don't know if it's possible,
right on.
which is interesting. Anyway, off topic. So something else that you and I were talking about when we were talking before about the online ordering and things like that. One thing that we've noticed, and there's actually something else today that I saw, I don't know if you saw it, which is why I want to bring it up. So we were talking about how like even the hyped beers are still very difficult to get, even during these times. I really thought things would change, and it did not. And this is not calling out any of the breweries or the people buying it. It's just more an interesting observation. Like the one that we were talking about with our great friends at Wood Brothers. They're still figuring out their online system, but their shit goes in like 30 minutes to an hour.
Incredible.
Like their most recent the most recent release was the first one on their new web shop, and their entire stock was sold out in less than half an hour of the launch.
Jeez Christ, that's kind of crazy that's how they do it. I mean, it's great that it shows how popular the brewery and the beers are, but it's super. I guess it's tough because like not everyone can get a hold of it. I noticed today on the same note, Masorum had to drop. So
I thought they were.
What?
I thought they were closed and done for.
No, they just said were out. They kind of made the way they positioned it was like it seemed like they might stop producing.
Interesting. Okay.
So my friend Stefan, he's into beer. He's not like a beer nerd, and he has a car. So I was like, dude, if you ever want to get some beer, and like I can't get there, but like I'll give you the money. I'll let you know when they drop if you're interested in picking them up, and I'll pay you for it. I know he wanted some beer, so he was like, yeah, cool, let me know. So I sent him the message, like I DM'd him the post, and then I think I got a call, and then I came off the call, and Masorum had sold out. So they were doing online orders, and they sold out within like 30 minutes as well.
Yeah. And
they had a saison. They had a saison bottle, and they had just one 4 packs of haze. So I don't know. Is this problematic that like maybe the brewers are brewing less, which is quite plausible. What is that? Can you hear that beep, or is it just me?
Yeah.
Can you hear a beep, Nate?
No, the only thing I'm having is that like your voices are just skipping a little bit at about once every 5 minutes or so, but it catches back up again.
Okay.
I just hear like a beep, and it sounds like the comment beep, but it's not.
I thought it was the comment beep, but it's not.
It's a different one. I was just like, am I missing
just
something?
Random things that the program will figure out as we go along.
Yeah, it's all new right now. So, what was I saying?
You're talking about Masorum and the fact that they sold out immediately after.
Yeah. Is it a problem? So is it a problem that clearly breweries are brewing less, so it's probably going to be harder to get their beer. And I was thinking that because of more people than any that we would like are probably going through some hard times. Mm-hmm. They probably won't have the budgets to be dropping all this money that they typically spend. I see dudes walk out of Masorum with cases on cases of haze. Just like you see the guys in Treehouse, and they walk out with a dolly with like 8 cases and shit. Like these haze boy trade hype motherfuckers who sort of ruin it for everybody. I wonder if if that's still, I guess it's still happening here in Canada. It's just interesting to me that it's still going on at that level, to the point where you can't even get some beers that you would have typically been able to get before, and now you can't even get the beers. So I don't know if they're producing less. I don't think so. Like Wood Brothers definitely aren't producing less. They're already on a small system. No,
it doesn't seem like they're producing less. What it looks like is, it looks like there are some breweries here which have kind of been elevated to the same level of hype as some of the breweries in the US had in the last 3 to 4 years. Like the same, like because your treehouse example like is a perfect example. Like people walking out with with cases upon cases, and like the Alchemist in Vermont was the same thing. Like 5 years ago, it would be like one of those things of within an hour or two of the beverage warehouse opening, they'd get cleaned out.
Yeah.
And it's the same the same thing with Trillium. It's just and there's a couple of breweries up here now that have started to achieve that same level of hype, that people will line up around around the block when there's canning drops, and there's and we know for a fact that there's people who who pick up more than they intend to drink for themselves, just for the sake of muling, whether they've got whether they've got a network of people that they trade with, or to send it to, or if they're just hoping to trade it for other stuff that they themselves can't get locally. And it's that kind of people doing a lot of overbuying, which makes the product really inaccessible.
Yeah.
How you feel about
overbuying? Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy for the breweries that are being successful. It's one of those things of, if people are buying Wood Brothers beer, I'm psyched and amped for the people of Wood Brothers, because you and I know they're great people. They work really hard. They make great beer. I'm glad they're experiencing some so much success on that front, and people want their stuff.
Yeah.
Where I find I'm not meaning to use Wood Brothers as a bad example, but it's just because they know they said themselves in their post afterwards that they want to try to change things so that more people the product if it's so they know that the last one went faster than would be ideal for them. Mm-hmm. It's from a consumer perspective, it can get a bit tough, because it's one of those things of, if as a consumer, if a brewery is selling out of that stuff in half an hour, it's not really accessible to everyone. It's accessible only to the people who are kind of really extra committed to jumping on it at the first second of launch, and who are willing to buy 6 to 8 4-packs or whatever their max is, or if there isn't a max, they'll be buying a couple cases or whatever it is. Which really, no one who's a casual enthusiast has a hope of even tasting it when that's kind of being that's kind of how it's being bought out.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like if they're selling it in half an hour, they could drop the limits. Right now, Wood Brothers do an honorary system where it's 3 bottles per person typically, and they can't enforce that from their back end, so they just hope people are doing the right thing. Which, I mean, they could
You'd
just
have to limit IP, track the IP address or something.
I don't even know if it's that, because it's got to be you should be able to say no more than this per order or something. The system they use clearly doesn't give them what they need to be able to restrict it, so they're probably changing that. But the point is that I don't know if people I'm sure when they pull up, they're going to be like, dude, you've ordered 6 of these, come on, man.
You could be for all my friends in the county.
Yeah, and that's what these are in pop-top growlers. How long can they possibly last?
Yeah, to overbuy is so bizarre.
Yeah, and even Masorum, I don't know, generally I forgot what their limits were on this one. They might have reduced it for the one today, but they go so, I've never ever seen Masorum sell like that before. So it's almost the hype. I thought the hype would die on a lot of these things. That would have been my prediction before this, and it's just, I feel like it's gone up. And it's not
I think it has gone.
It has, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel I'm not I would have lied. I'd be I wouldn't mind it. I wanted 1 4-pack. That was all I wanted. And my friend Stefan wanted a 4-pack, and I didn't even. To be honest, I didn't even read the post. I saw it was out now, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good. Maybe you should go down. You know, if you want to go down." But they did online only, and I don't. Clearly, it's not delivery. It has to be pickup. But if they can sell out in 30 minutes, I think that's definitely problematic. Because I know I've met dudes who have told me, "Oh yeah, I buy a case of Masorum a week." I'm like, you buy a fucking case a week? Like, you're drinking like 2 or 3 cans a night for that to be like available. And I'm like, I guess, you know, it's whatever. It's whoever's got the money, whoever's there first. But like, Jesus,
or however you drink.
They can't. Yeah. They can't be drinking all of themselves.
Yeah, maybe they're selling it or doing something with it.
I know 2 people who drink it themselves and they buy a case a week.
So like, if I was wanting to drink beer that excessively, I could probably drink 5 beers at night or something easily. So it probably wouldn't take that long to do. I'm more thinking like with Bellwoods even, for example, you could have ordered as many Milk Sharks as you liked for the birthday Milk Shark, no?
Speaking of that, yeah.
But you ordered 2.
I ordered 2 because all I wanted
like
was
fair
2.
And reasonable. You're going to review one and then you're going to have another one that's fun and extra.
Yeah.
It just would seem ridiculous, especially knowing that it's a beer that so many people would want to purchase 8 beers or something.
Yeah, it's I think it's like if it's limited,
it's becoming like tickets to a concert or something like that. You're just like buying it in hopes to either like there has to be a portion of like trying to sell them or something a little bit.
No, dudes are trying to. I've been approached for trade for Milk Shark. Like people would buy too much and they trade them. But it just sucks that they're allowed to do it in the first place. I bought that Milk Shark about 1 hour. I think it went on sale at 11, and I ordered it at 12. And I got 2 that I wanted, and then I think I told you, and I told my brother, and my brother went on at like 1, gone. Like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And that was a beer that hasn't had hype to the point of like this level for like 2 years. Like, I used to line up to buy that beer when it was in a bottle, probably in 2018 at the latest. And then now it's going away. So I mean, I guess it's like a new type of issue that's come up with this. It's almost like people are bored, and they've got nothing else to spend their money on.
Scarcity
maybe
mindset.
People who are maybe that too. Or people aren't traveling, so they're just like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to buy more Milk Sharks than I could ever drink, and then they'll all go off, or they'll just try and trade them for other shit.
Yeah.
And then they'll have too many, and then people won't care. I don't know, it's a strange thing, man. And I don't know, it's tough on the breweries, because they shouldn't have to care. It shouldn't really be their problem, because they're a business.
Exactly. Like I don't, I definitely don't begrudge the breweries, because they're making really fucking good beer. And they they deserve the success that comes with that. Like they should have people buying it, and I'm glad that people are buying it. It's just unfortunate for that an average consumer. It's so much there's so much more of a barrier to it. Like another example is, in my neck of the woods is Canada. How crazy that the hype is around their beers, and it's for good reason. It's because that they make really good shit that so few other people in the area and in the province are making. Like the beer is that good, but it's one of those things of when they have one of their big their big bottle drop or can drop days that's like a ticketed event. I'm not stepping anywhere near that. Because it's one of those things of I also don't line up for beer. It's I cannot be bothered to stand in a line for 2 to 3 hours for beer, and you see on Instagram what people sharing on their stories what they're taking away, and that those cases that they're carrying away from back Canada with 4 bottles and 6 4-packs and whatnot, they just dropped $200, $300, sometimes $400 on beer on these bottle and can in can release days. It's nuts.
Yeah.
And that will be gone by the end of the day. No one who doesn't want to stand in line for that is even going to be able to touch those.
You know, that's actually a bigger problem with that, because that actually takes it away from, and you said that the casual enthusiast, but even just anyone who is going to discover this brewery or something like that, it's actually taking away. So not having these limits just means that everyone who is always going to buy every single time is going to get it, and it completely eliminates discovery. of those beers, because a regular person is not
Exactly.
going to be able to walk in the next day and just be like, oh, let me try that, it's gone. So it's like the limits need to be imposed, otherwise you're hurting your wider reach and potential to actually reach new customers.
That's a great point. I never thought of it like that.
It's interesting in that way.
Yeah. I mean, like,
And back Canada, they even have those limits, and it still has to be ticketed events and and have those crazy lineups and whatnot. Like, it's one of those things that I think Back Canada is trying to control it, and they almost can't.
Yeah, I guess like they can't control their popularity, right? What people want to see from them, and people just want their shit. Like, same as Masorum here, like it just is what it is. People want it.
I haven't looked at what the system is, but shouldn't it just be like we're ex-Apple retailers, right? When a phone dropped, it was a big deal, and there were people who wanted to buy the phones in bulk, but they couldn't do that because it's not fair, because a regular person could not get an iPhone if we let everybody go in and buy the 20, 30. Some people would come in and try to buy 60 phones and give you cash for it. Like, it was a thing.
I don't think I've ever seen wads of cash like that before.
I've never seen wads of cash like I did
Dudes
at the Apple
were paying
store.
homeless guys to come
in.
wait up.
Well, but you know the reason they were doing that, though, is because Apple enforced a limit, which was you here with this one credit card or this cash, you cannot come back into the line and you cannot purchase. We're only going to sell you 2 at a time. That's just what it is. So then that's why they started paying homeless people to come in and actually, which is so ridiculous.
It's wild.
To come in and buy, so you'd have like a homeless person coming in with $3,000 asking you to buy 2 phones or something. It was ridiculous.
Oh my god.
But the whole point
weird.
is that they did have that restriction, and Apple probably had that mindset where they were like, our goal is to get an iPhone in as many hands as possible, because those are even more people who are going to talk about our products.
Yeah.
So when you only let the exact same people every single time purchase these things, then that just closes the door to anyone new. Like, anyone who's going to discover Masorum during this quarantine period likely won't, because everyone who's already a Masorum hype person purchased everything, you know? So I don't know what that has to look like, but if you walk up and you're standing in line, it's like you get this one pack, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get other people to come in and buy for you, that's fine, but like, you as this individual are only going to get this one pack. Or you go back to the back of the line or something like that. There has to be something.
Yeah.
Because it is ridiculous, and it's no one needs that many of the same beer. There's just gonna be so many more. It's nonsense, really.
Yeah. It sucks because only the haze really that gets this level of hype. Maybe pastry stouts, but that's kind of about it.
Yeah.
No one else is really lining up for other things like that. So it's like, unfortunately, these are 2 styles that I particularly enjoy. And like, Masorum is around the corner. It just sucks because like, you just can't even get a fucking 4-pack of the stuff.
Yeah.
No.
You know, and I know the guys too. Like, I'm never going to ask them for anything, but like, you know, like, come on, man. I don't know. It's frustrating. So I guess the beer nerds are. I mean, again, it's every man for himself. It's capitalism, you know. But like, at the same token, it doesn't help grow the scene. And I guess the hype haze boys don't really give a fuck about the scene. They give a fuck about what other hype haze they can get in their hands. And the more of one thing that has a trade value they can get hold of, the more they're going to hang on to it. So,
yeah. And we've talked a lot before about like one of the other kind of problems that arises out of this is that it kind of the other thing that it does is that it feeds into that whole issue of haze is everything, and a lot of the people in that crowd who are doing like the whole muling thing and and who are lining up there are the ones who it's that haze is the only thing they'll buy, it's the only thing they'll drink, it's the only thing they'll post on Instagram and all these things, and it kind of has forced we've seen it happen a lot where breweries who are good at what they brew, but who haze is not really their style, are kind of venturing into that seemingly because it feels like they have to, and you can't really blame them for feeling that way, and it's become a thing that overall the overall quality of haze, I think, has gone down. The breweries who focus on it are pumping out solid fire, but in the rest of the scene, who are kind of just making it because it's popular and because some people it's the only thing that they're interested in. It's kind of made the style like really drop in overall quality, in my opinion.
Interesting point. Definitely agreed that the breweries who do it well, and then they typically focus on it, and then a lot of others are trying to follow suit. Like, it's fine if they're... I mean, no one's going to achieve the lineup level of haze quality, but if they have something that's half decent, cool, I guess. Like, it's nice to know if you can get a half decent New England IPA if you go to a brewery, but you wouldn't specifically go out of your way as like the beer nerds. I guess it's two different markets. And a lot of the times now, the New Englands are the gateway beer for a lot of people. They're converting folks to beer. And I think that makes the style more important. I found the more...
for sure. When we were at Momofuku, remember? Yeah. We were at Momofuku in New York, and they have a fantastic craft beer list, of course, because where New York does it. And we gave my friend, who's not a beer drinker... Was it Other Half?
Other Half Green City, if I'm not mistaken.
And she was just like, "Ooh, this is she was like, this is so like it's like juice or something." It's just like, "Oh wow!" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a style of beer, And she just wouldn't because she was not interested at all. And then when she had it, she's like, "This tastes great."
Yeah, we didn't get it for her. I just gave her some of mine, and like she loved it. And
but it does introduce, I think, because you're like, oh, okay, and then you start seeing it in more and more places, and then it gets you into being like, okay, if I do go to a brewery and I find myself there, I'll try this. Now I know that this is a good style, and it's for me. And then it just continues and continues to. It brings you in to the whole world. So
I mean, the hype thing is it's just like it's just something that we had observed. It's not like the end of the world. Like there's definitely other stuff. I know we talked about last episode Trailways coming into Quebec as of yesterday. So now you can get huge on hops here in Quebec, which is dope. Dominion are always pumping out Fire Haze up in Ottawa. Flora Hold does some great stuff. Bicycle have been doing some good stuff as well. Really enjoying their haze. There's more that, and now even like Town who do it. People were saying, I saw someone say that Town's latest, that double catch full of dads, is the best haze they've ever had.
I've seen a few people say that.
Really? Yeah. So I'm gonna talk to Jeff. Shouts to you, Jeff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jeff. I'm gonna talk to you, bro. On a side note, one of the other things that's finally started coming out are the Altogether beers, the Other Half collab. So I know the Bar Canada dropped theirs. I think Brewski dropped theirs. I know Masorum were brewing it, so they should be soon.
Wood
Town
Brothers
dropped theirs.
Has one coming?
Yeah, Wood Brothers either this week or it'll be the next drop that they'll have it. Have you got your hands on any of those?
Town too.
Yeah, Town. Yeah, exactly.
I haven't got my hands on any of them yet.
Yeah, another vibe. I don't think they're sending them out in like PR packs. I think there's going to be like that's another kind of tying onto the last.
No, they probably won't because the whole point is that the money donated goes to some foundation. No.
Yeah, fuck it.
I think it's actually a foundation
for
like
hospitality
restaurant workers. Yeah, hospitality. Yeah,
that's not a bad idea, and they give a portion of it to that, which is dope.
Yeah.
I want to. I think that's. I hope they're accessible because basically the one version. Actually, no. One brewery did reach out to me from here in Quebec that they made the beer, and they did a West Coast version. So it's going to be like a West Coast hoppy piney IPA, which I think is quite an interesting twist. Every single other one I've heard about has been haze. I just hope that the haze fucking trade people allow more folks to get this. I guess at the end of the day, as long as they sell, because the money's going to the people. So the money in this case,
it's fine.
The money's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The awareness of the cause, I think, is dope because if someone's able to, like maybe a not so obsessed beer drinker is able to get hold of them from somewhere that isn't going crazy, then they might be like, oh, and then they'll see it elsewhere, and then they'll be like, oh, you're doing it too. Oh, cool. Like, I think there's more value in that for the community. But at the same token, the money is a bit more important this time, as opposed to regular.
Yeah, but it's a very cool initiative. I'm really happy they did that.
Yeah.
Other half is just funny having half hours on Earth because their names remind me or like names reminds me of like Other Half, where it's just like this ridiculous long list of ingredients that either makes people very excited or very angry. It depends.
But
like I think it's just so hilarious and very cool.
Yeah, I think you said the Craft Beer Channel went to.
They weren't enjoying it too. They did not enjoy
it. Wow, you guys.
But they're more purists, perhaps, and
I respect that.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. That was pretty much all the stuff we had on the list here, Uncle Nate.
Yeah.
That was a good chat, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I like this. This is like a nice little switch up from what we were doing, and just give different energy in there, and get to actually. It's kind of just like a bunch of friends hanging out anyway, just an excuse to talk shit and catch up.
Yeah, just as we would if you were visiting, if we're hanging out together. So it's good.
Yeah, I guess it might be a little while.
Yeah, it's always good to chat with you guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What do you work? You got any blog posts coming up that people can look out for? I know this is a genuine question from my side because we haven't spoken about it.
Well, I mean, like there's a couple of things that are like coming down the pipe in the next month that that we're both going to be a part of remotely that I'm looking forward to to writing about. I think you probably know what I'm talking about, but I'll keep it on the down low for now.
Okay.
Ooh, all right. Look out, guys. Look out. Look out, listeners and viewers.
And look, I was gonna say, if you're watching, you can see the @NathanDoesBeer right next to you there, so that will let people know where they can follow you.
Oh yeah, Nate, you can't see this, right? Because you're just in a Skype call?
You're just looking at a Skype screen, right?
Yeah, that's right. I only see myself in the upper right-hand corner.
Okay. So for those watching on YouTube, you'll see @NathanDoesBeer under his logo right there. You can follow him everywhere on social media @NathanDoesBeer. And on the BAOS blog. And on the BAOS blog, which is good because I didn't have to, I guess I just said I was about to say, and for the podcast listeners, but I said it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the BAOS blog, so make sure you check out. Nate's got some great pieces. What was the last one you did? The
Dominion City one, no?
The one would have been the Dominion City, how they're serving their beer during the pandemic.
Love it. No, it's
and importance of supporting people.
Yeah, so go check that out because there's a bunch of links Nate has there to all the various online stores and different breweries and stuff where you can buy stuff and support them. It's just really cool to see. It was really great. Mm-hmm. So Nate, appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time, hanging out. It was great.
Great to guys. Thanks for having me on.
If anyone else is in Ontario, go get some half hours on Earth because this shit is out of control. It looks beautiful, right? Look at it. Oof. So guys, that is it. If you actually make sure you go follow Tiff as well @LiquidXHappiness everywhere. Oh no, not everywhere. Just on Instagram.
Just Instagram.
That's the best way to do it. So guys, if you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below here on YouTube, hit the notification bell.
Ding.
So you know when the new... Look at that, double dings. So you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media @BAOS Podcast and check out the long form audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that good stuff. We're there. Give us a 5-star rating and a review if you can. It will help us a lot, particularly right now. I guess more people are listening to podcasts, so the more reviews and positive promotion we can get there, it helps a lot, particularly if you're enjoying the content. Nate, stick around after this. Don't hang up straight away because I want to take a screenshot for the thumbnail.
That's what I was thinking.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, you can still hang out. We'll be going on for a second. If you're listening, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you in the next episode. Get it in ya! Beautiful. So that's the audio part. Now, Nate, I want to take a screenshot of you for the thumbnail.
Can you make it bigger or no? The screen bigger?
Oh, I can actually. Let me make the screen bigger. So for the YouTube folks, we're just going to take this part here. Oh, the only problem is it's going... Oh, here we go. That's pretty big, right?
Yeah.
It's as big as it can get. It's going to be like a part... I don't know if it would be like a full...
Oh, I see. No, I thought like there was like a screen fill option,
shit,
but I guess there isn't there. Okay.
There's a what option?
I thought there was like a screen fill option, but I guess there's not. Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Alright, Nate. Alright, if you want to give... I'm going to highlight your part.
Oh, I thought it was going to be all of us in the photo together.
Oh, you want to do all in the photo? Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, we'll just do it like this instead then.
Well, actually, you know what? No, you don't know what... Hang on, let me show... Sorry, because I did all the things here. You can actually get rid of this stuff. Boom.
There you go. Clears up the screen a little bit.
Oh, how do you get rid of that scenes? Oh, you can't get rid of it.
Okay, that's fine. If we put it in the corner here, I'll just screenshot it. I just need a little... just a little bit, and I can... I guess it's like a thumbnail. It's not that.
Oh, actually, we can probably hang up on the YouTube Live.
I was thinking, I was like, why can't you just hang up?
Yeah, let me do that. All right, YouTube Live, thank you so much for watching, guys. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Peace. End broadcast.